Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So just a little quick tour around the garden and what needs doing. So today our jobs are to cut the grass. The grass is looking a bit unruly, so we'll give that a good cut. There's lots of dandelions over there, so we'll give that a little cut. Get it all tidied up. Get this little bit tidied up. Let's go over here. So all this grass needs cutting and tidied up. Now I do keep grass, and I know you get a lot of people that say grow food, not lawns, but I need somewhere for my kids to play, and I like them, and they like to kick a ball about, so we keep the grass. So there are my onions, looking quite nice. They're the ones that are planted in winter. They're looking nice and healthy. I've planted some climbing French beans here. There's no sign of them yet, but hopefully they'll start popping up soonish. These are the onions that I planted in that onion planting video. They're about 6, some of them are a bit longer, 6 inches long. So they're looking nice. They're coming up nice, and some garlic in this bed, and I need to do something with this other bed. I might plant some lettuce in there. My strawberries, this is one area that I need to mulch quite heavily. I haven't mulched this quite in a while. There's remnants of the cardboard mulch. So this bed, there's potatoes in the middle there. There's a mallow plant. Random garlic. These are all volunteer garlics that have come up. I was going to pull them out, but they look really healthy, so I've just left them. There's more onions planted from seed around the side. You can just about see them. There we go. And the rest of the bed is pretty much empty. These sides are going to be used for planting stuff that we're going to regularly harvest, and we'll do that pretty soon. Just waiting for this cold snap to finish off, and we'll start doing that, planting stuff out. There's a strawberry bed that you saw me in my strawberry, the runners that I planted out of my strawberries. And they're already, as you can see, they're already starting to flower. That's quite early for this year. It's quite early for us, especially at this time of year. It's nice to start seeing those flower. We've kind of see the first signs of cherries, which are looking good, mashallah. And we've still got some cherry blossom yet to be pollinated. There's a nice little cherry there. I didn't get around to pruning the plum tree, so I think I'm just going to leave it this year. It's looking big, so I think I'm going to just leave it this year, and I'll deal with it next year. As you can see, there are the start of some plums there. So hopefully we'll get some nice plums this year. All down the side of the hedge has been mulched with, well, we've got piles of wood chips there. Need to spread that out and mulch it properly and just cover all those weeds up, and then we'll start more fruit there, so things like gooseberries, red currants. Down that side I've already got 2 or 3 black currants, so there's a black currant, 1, 2, and there's another black currant. I'm not a big fan of black currants, but we grow them anyway. They were here when we moved in. I've moved them a couple of times, and they're still going to be here I'll just leave them. If I don't eat them, the birds will eat them, or the chickens will eat them, so they will serve a purpose. There's another onion bed. As you can see, they're looking lovely. These were onion sets that I planted out. All this grass needs trimming back. See, I don't mulch the paths in between. I like to keep the grass because it gives me lots of green matter for my compost pile. I mean, I can get lots of brown matter, I can get lots of wood chips, I can get lots of leaves and shavings, but I can't get as much green matter. So all this will serve for my compost pile. So it's not completely useless to have grass. These are my peas. As you can see, they're looking quite nice. They're starting to look quite healthy. And some of the other peas that I planted there are also coming up. This bed is still empty. Just wood chips and manure at the moment. We'll get some. This is going to be where we're going to plant not aubergines. So we're going to plant our pumpkins, courgettes, and all our different squashes. There's my garlic. Garlic's looking nice and big. Hopefully we should get an early harvest from this. They're looking nice and healthy. They haven't sent out any scapes yet, so we'll see what happens with them. And the potatoes that you saw me in the potatoes planted in wood chips, these are coming up nice. I've mulched on top of these. I've added more of it. Well, instead of earthing them up, I've added more compost and more wood chips to the top, and they're filling up nicely. There's my garlic bed. That's a ton of garlic there. And check this pear tree out. It's the first time. We had some blossom on it last year, but this is the first time it may actually fruit. So look at those pears. They're looking lovely, absolutely perfect. And there's a fair few on them. There's a fair few that look like they're pollinated. So hopefully, if we get a good crop off this tree, I'll be very happy, because they're not the conference pears. They're the round blush kind of pears, and I really like those. And this apple tree is still yet to do anything. As you can see, it's still not flowered. Little red currant bush there. That's flowered, and hopefully there's going to be some red currants set. I didn't take any cuttings off it last year, which I should have done, which was a bit silly of me. Raspberries coming up. My bamboo at the back is coming up nicely, and some pretty apple blossom. This apple tree is laden with blossom at the moment. It's absolutely packed. Looks gorgeous. So hopefully it always produces quite well. Hopefully we'll have another good crop of apples this year. Like I mentioned before, I'm going to let this apple tree grow quite a bit longer just to block that dormer out. This is my other pear tree. Nice fruit set there. And we've got a little gooseberry bush back there. Can't see any blossoms on it yet, but hopefully they'll start soon. All these daffodils, I'm just going to leave them for a bit, let them... What we'll do with the daffodils is, once the plant dies, is if you break the seed head off, just like that. So you take the seed head off, and rather than producing more seeds, the plant will focus more energy into making the bulb stronger, and next year you'll have better flowers. So I'll just leave that. We've got some weeds actually coming through the mulch, so I'll get onto that at some point. My wood chips are slowly moving down the garden. My brother's been shifting them for me, slowly. Hopefully in the next week or so he'll finish off the rest of it. There's my compost piles. We emptied this compost bin out. Harvested a load of compost this week, and we're going to start making a new compost pile here. And there's the old compost pile cooking. More onions, lots and lots of more onions. So these are planted from bulb, just next to the peas. It doesn't, because it's under the shade of this big sycamore tree. Because it's under the shade of this massive sycamore tree up here, it doesn't get. This isn't the best spot for sun. because it's not the best spot for sun, onions will do fine in shade. Leafy crops will do fine in shade. Potatoes as well will be okay in shade. So we just stick some onions down in this corner. We had potatoes here last year. I can't see any volunteer potatoes come through, so we must have done a good job harvesting them. And that's a quick tour.